it is a little bit more difficult than Anansi. It is more complex. The characters are a bit more difficult to keep track of. The language is also a bit more difficult. Even with the modern English translation, it's still a little bit more difficult than with Anansi. But I also think there's more comedy in Twelfth Night, comparing it to Anansi. I think it's probably a more fun read. Anansi is a more serious read with bits of humor, whereas Twelfth Night is a more humorous read with bits of seriousness. Right? So if you prefer the lighter side of things, if you like romance and relationship stories, then Twelfth Night is going to be an interesting read for you. So Act 1, Scene 1, I'll read this first page, but from the second page onward, I'll ask volunteers to pitch in. So we'll just take on a page, and then we'll have a little bit of discussion about that scene. We're going scene by scene. Not like Anansi where we have to jump back and forth between two settings. Here it's just more regular format, right? All right, Act 1, Scene 1. And I managed to get some screenshots from one of the renditions of the play available on YouTube. So while writing the guide, after writing the guide, I watched through that play. Maybe some of you guys have watched this particular one on YouTube. There are 2 or 3 good ones. I got some nice images, and I think that just adds a nice little touch of imagery to the guide, right? All right, here we go. Act 1, Scene 1. Just as with Anansi, we can touch on themes and characterization for now, but we're going to go more in depth on that stuff later. We can touch on it now, but we can go more in depth later when we actually get to that section of the guide. Duke Orsino, in his palace in Illyria, expresses both joy and sorrow over the complexities of love. He asks for music, but quickly stops it, comparing love to an ocean that consumes all and constantly changes, like a dream or illusion. This is actually touching on a theme that we're going to see more of, right? Love being this kind of changing, illusory thing that we can't really grasp and we can't really see clearly and we can't really understand, right? Love is not painted as this straightforward thing. It is seen as something very confusing, something very difficult to grasp. Orsino, attended by his servants, indulges in his feelings of love sickness, making dramatic statements and using cliched metaphors that compare love to madness. Curio, one of Orsino's attendants, enters and asks if Orsino will join him to hunt a hart, which is a male deer. Orsino responds by comparing himself to a hunted hart, pursued by his own desires ever since he first saw Olivia. Valentine, another servant, returns from Olivia's palace with news that she is mourning the recent death of her brother. Olivia plans to live like a nun for 7 years, secluded and grieving, to honor her brother's memory. Instead of being discouraged, Orsino becomes even more passionate after hearing this. He believes that if Olivia can love her brother so intensely in death, she will love him even more once her romantic affections are stirred. Right? And I have a key quote that we'll get into in a little bit. For each scene, I tried to select maybe the most important quote that I want you to actually memorize. And of course, I have some notes on the meaning of that quote, why we need to remember it, and how we could probably quote it in an essay. So as we look at kind of my summary of Act 1, Scene 1, what are some big ideas that are coming up? What are some interesting things that we're already beginning to learn about our first main character, Duke Orsino? What do we know about Orsino? And here we're looking at the actual act.
He's lovesick.
He's lovesick. What do you mean by lovesick?
He wants love but doesn't have it.
So he's suffering from unrequited love.
Ooh, I like that. Unrequited love. Love that you give to someone but that they don't return to you. Is that all we see about Orsino? There's some interesting things that are beginning to surface about him, even at the beginning here.
Well, it would seem that love has blinded him to the fact that Lady Olivia is currently grieving, but he does He's blinded by by his extreme love for her.
Well, he takes that grief as a challenge. He's saying, well, this woman is grieving. If she loves her brother so much that she's going to grieve him for 7 years, imagine how much she's going to love me when she gets to know me. So it's... Yes, Zahara, one more time, please.
I was saying he's more delusional.
Yeah, I think there's definitely an element of delusion here that we're able to see right at the beginning. Because if you can look at a woman who is grieving, who is cutting herself off from romance right now, and you're going to say, okay, challenge accepted. This means you're going to love me even more. There's a lack of awareness, isn't there? Sorry, Keisha, go again, please.
Sir, maybe the love has made him mentally sick.
Interesting. Mentally sick, love sick, delusional. These are some descriptors that are coming up. Let's look at this quote. If music be the food of love, play on. Give me excess of it, that surfeiting the appetite may sicken and so die. What is the meaning of this? This is an important and quite a famous quote from this play. And I can just imagine this being like the prompt for a CSEC question. There are so many things that we might be asked to talk about where this quote is concerned. What does this tell us about Orsino, his character, and his view of love? Just this one line right here. And this is when he's basically talking to this guy, right, who is playing for him on the guitar, right? If music be the food of love. Yes, Mikhail, go ahead.
He's saying that he wants to be given love until he doesn't want it anymore.
Give me excess, give me too much, so that I will even lose my appetite. What an interesting guy. He asks for music, right? And then he asks for the music. He asks for the musician to stop playing. He compares love to an ocean, right? His servant says, hey, let's go hunt. And he turns that invitation into a conversation about the nature of love and how he is being hunted. He looks at Olivia, who is in mourning, and say, this mourning that you're mourning, I'm going to relate it to love and make that the point. So it seems as if Orsino is quite a dramatic character, right? A character who isn't quite grounded in reality, but he's living in his head. He's living in his own mind, in his own thoughts, his own little world and delusion, where he is the star of this movie he's in, right? He's the Disney prince or the Disney princess in his movie. And it seems that even from this very first act, from this very scene, and from this very quote, even though it's just a couple of words, Orsino seems to be more in love with love than he is with anyone, right? He just wants to be lovesick. He wants to be the sympathetic, romantic knight, right? He's just trying to play that character and have that feeling. We're going to notice as we go on, and we're just at the beginning, so we're not seeing everything clearly yet. But as we go on, we're going to notice two distinct philosophies of love, two different ideas of love, two different worlds of love. This play gives us two different casts of characters who have their own plots running. So maybe after all, it's not so different from Anansi that gives us the forest and the ship, right? In this play, we have the high characters, the nobility. We have the Orsino, the Olivia, these guys who are the rich people. But we also have some low characters, some commoners. The Malvolio and Maria, and Toby is kind of a commoner, right? So we have these two sets of characters who are going through their own exploration of love at the same time. And from time to time, their paths cross. And what we're going to notice is the high characters have a very different approach to love, a very different view of love from the low characters. But we're going to get there as we proceed. We're going to start to notice as a distinct contrast between the two types of love, the love portrayed or the love pursued by the upper class versus how the lower class deals with love. We're going to notice that. Orsino is setting the stage. He's this melodramatic guy who exaggerates everything. He makes poetry out of everything. When he's sad, he wants the violinist to come and play the sad song to accentuate how sad he is. He wants to be on display. He wants his heart to be shown to the world, right? It's more of a show. Look how romantic I am. Come play that sad song so people can see me cry, right? It kind of reminds me of nothing against anyone who wants to be an influencer. But it reminds me of this wave of mainly TikTokers, but also Instagrammers and YouTubers, who every emotional experience in their life, they find the time to set up a tripod and film it and post it and get views, right? Somebody's grandmother die and it's a big video with a nice thumbnail and tears running. It's like nothing is, it makes you question the authenticity of everything, doesn't it? I mean, we're being real.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're being real. There's one doctor, nurse, I'm not sure, a young lady, maybe a doctor or a nurse, I don't know. And she went viral for a reason. Maybe she thinks it's a good reason, because any attention is good attention when you're an influencer, right? And you would see her in her TikToks all melodramatic. Oh, just lost a patient today, and she's crying in the hospital room, and it's like she can't even realize how jarring this is. Like, what's the behind the scenes like? Someone just dies, you're a patient, and you're like, okay, hold a minute, let me not cry yet, let me get my tripod and set up. Is this the right angle? Are my tears showing? Is the lighting good? Orsino is this kind of guy, right? His feelings must be curated and be on display. He wants the music, he wants the poetry. And so we have to wonder, is this a genuine kind of love, or is this more of a show? Is he just being a showman? Look at how he's dressed, right? Is he just kind of showing, and is he just in it for the game of it, for the pursuit, and for the for the feeling of it? Is it real? Go again, Faris.
Sorry, sir, I didn't mean to jump you, but what I was trying to say was that he's kind of fulfilling a stereotype in a sense.
He's being a character in his own show, right? And so we're going to notice that when the lower characters deal with love, they're much more grounded, right? And how they navigate it is a bit closer to how anyone in real life would navigate love. All right, let's take a closer look at this particular quote, because I wanted to remember it. If music be the food of love, play on. Give me excess of it, that surfeiting the appetite may sicken and so die. The play begins with Duke Orsino lamenting about love, using dramatic and exaggerated language that sets the tone for the theme of excess. Excess is an important theme. Too much. We're going to notice that comes up. Orsino seems to enjoy performing. Performance is another very important theme. Performance. The performative aspect of love. We're gonna flash forward. We're gonna see Olivia and how she does her own play within a play to express her own love. Right? It's all performative at that level. Right? Orsino seems to enjoy performing the role of the heartbroken lover, even asking for music to be played as he wallows in his own dramatic desire. His understanding of love appears shallow and performative, highlighting the idea that he is more in love with the idea of love and truly experiencing.
But sir, when me sad, me play sad music, sir. And when me upset, me play me no know if you call that, sir. But me listen to music according to my mood.
But there's a big difference here, Keisha. When you are sad, do you call your friend who plays piano and say, I'm sad, come and play a sad song for me, come set up this lighting and blah blah blah? What Orsino is doing is more performative. You know? When you're listening to a sad song in your own private space, that's still a personal experience. You're not performing for anybody, right? If you set up a tripod now and you start a live stream to cry to your followers and show how sad you are, then that becomes questionable. Now I have to wonder, is this person really sad? Or is this person cloud chasing? Does this person really feel anything? Or are they just performing their feelings, right? So this idea of performing and being a character, being in a role is one of the critical considerations of Twelfth Night. And guess what? There's an interesting idea that is kind of attributed to Shakespeare's work. That big idea of we are all just actors on this stage called life. It's a bigger idea than the play itself. And I think Shakespeare is the one who is kind of credited with, I don't know if a particular quote or just the idea of all human beings, you say, we're just playing roles, right? You have a different costumes, you have a different masks, and we perform until we die. And that particular idea is really made lucid in Twelfth Night, where we see characters going out of their way to perform and to be someone or something that they're not, and to create certain impressions that might not necessarily be true, even to the point of literally turning into other people through disguise, right? So let's keep those points in mind. All right, Act 1, Scene 2.
Act 1, Scene 2. Viola, a young noblewoman, along with a captain and several sailors, arrives on the coast after a shipwreck. She asks where they are, and the captain tells her they are in Ayala. Viola, believing her brother Sebastian had drowned, mourns his loss, but the captain offers hope, saying he last saw Sebastian alive, holding on to the ship's mast. Viola's brief expression of grief contrasts with Orsino's elaborate speeches from the previous scene, highlighting the sincerity of her sorrow. The captain knows Ayala, explains that Duke Orsino rules the land. Orsino is a bachelor who is in love with Olivia, a noblewoman who, out of love for her deceased brother, has sworn not to marry for 7 years. Viola becomes interested in working for Olivia, but learns that Olivia is refusing to see anyone. Instead, Viola decides to serve Orsino. She asks the captain to help her disguise herself as a man to work for him, and he agrees to help her carry out her plan. Key quote: "Conceal me what I am, and my aid for such disguise, and haply shall become the form of thy intent." Significance: Viola asks for help to disguise her as a man, setting the stage for the theme of mistaken identity and hidden truths that drive the plot. It reflects her adaptability in navigating a male-dominated world.
Thank you. So we have a very interesting character being introduced, Viola. She's a noble woman, but she's not in the upper echelon of nobility, right? She's still kind of in the middle of the pack. She is concerned about her brother, right? She believes her brother Sebastian has drowned. But the captain is like, hold up. Let's not jump the gun. This guy might still be alive. And what is Viola willing to do? Clinging to that hope that her brother might still be alive.
Well, could it be that she dressed up as a man as a way to find an occupation? Because if I remember back in the days, I guess the gender roles back then are quite different from nowadays. Men are the ones who are working, but the women don't work back in the days.
So she's dressing up as a man to find greater opportunity. But what is it that she wants opportunity to do? She asks, who rules here? Who governs here? The captain answers, a duke, a noble duke. What's his name? Orsino. And then she decides, okay, I've heard of this guy. Eventually she decides that she's gonna dress up and work for him. But why? Why really?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, yeah.
She originally wanted to work for Olivia.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the captain told her that she wasn't seeing anybody, she was like, okay, maybe I should work for the king instead, because before in the modern version, I wish I could serve that lady, then I wouldn't have to reveal myself to the world until I was ready to identify my place in society. So she that's what I was saying. She doesn't want to have to reveal her place in society as yet, because she's having hope that her brother's still alive, perhaps.
Okay, so make the connection from it here. What is the connection between not revealing her place, working for Orsino, and hoping that her brother is still alive? How does all of this make sense?
Perhaps it's not good for like a woman to be like alone, because how they're making it look, it actually doesn't happen in like other family except her brother. So probably it's not good for a woman to be alone, because she wouldn't be able to fend for herself or something of the sort. And like, I don't know, probably there's some shame or like some other weight that comes down with losing the brother.
Is this about fending for herself?
I think that she dresses up as a man because in Elizabethan times a woman would not have been allowed to access jobs One, two, the level of safety she would have had with her brother being alive would have provided her with the opportunity to continue life as is. But she's very resourceful, and she's knowledgeable about the fact that men have a different freedom to women of that time. So one of the ways is disguise yourself like a man, and it's considerate of the captain also to have been able to recognize that this is the only way somebody like her is going to have a way to protect herself, to keep herself occupied. One, yes, but that level of safety and the freedom that men got at that time, disguising herself as a man would have suited that purpose perfectly.
We know that Viola is a very resourceful person. She's very smart. She can even manipulate people. And so she's very self-aware. She knows that, okay, as it is, as a woman in this place, I'm not necessarily going to be able to find my brother or do anything to save him if he's still out there. I'm going to become a man. I'm going to make connections with people who matter. And perhaps a way will emerge, right? This, I think, is Viola's mindset for getting into the disguise and trying to immediately connect with somebody who has power, right? Remember that Viola loves her brother, right? So we have to imagine that at least one reason why she's doing all of this, connects back to the brother she misses and hopes is still alive. Yeah. It's still quite early, but we can already see some contrasts between Viola and her love for her brother and what's his name? Orsino and his love for Olivia. But we're going to get into those contrasts when they start to make themselves a little bit more obvious. But keep that in mind. That's something we'll be able to come back, right? All right. So conceal me what I am and be my aid for such disguise as haply shall become the form of my intent, right? Viola, she wants to disguise herself as a man. And this is where the whole confusion really starts. Everybody disguising, putting on masks and different clothes, right? But her idea to wear a disguise, it definitely shows a part of her character. It shows that she's a quick thinker. She's able to problem solve. She's able to make do in whatever situation she's in, right? And that continues to hold true for Viola. She's that kind of character. She's a little bit of a Nancy in her. Remember when Nancy dressed up as that girl to trick her? Yeah, Viola is doing something that's not entirely different. She's dressing up as a man to kind of get ahead. All right, let's see what's happening in Act 3. In this first scene 3, in the first couple of scenes, so in all of Act 1, we're slowly being introduced to the cast, the different characters. So we might notice that the scenes don't seem to really just follow one continuous story. But we're getting little introductions, and everything will start to converge and make sense by the end of the act. All right, another volunteer. Take us through scene 3, please.
At Olivia's palace, her uncle, Toby Belch, returns from a night of drinking. Olivia's servant, Maria, flirtatiously scolds him for his behavior and for bringing the foolish knight, Sir Andrew Augustchick. Is that how it's pronounced? Augustchick.
Maybe.
Augustchick. To woo Olivia. Sir Toby defends Sir Andrew, noting his wealth and height, but Maria dismisses these qualities as unimportant. Sir Toby and Maria's flirtation, along with Sir Toby's practical view of suitors focusing on wealth, contrasts with the more noble romanticized idea of love seen in Orisno's character earlier. Sir Andrew arrives and Sir Toby encourages him to accost Maria, leading to a series of crude flirtatious wordplay. Maria easily outwits Sir Andrew, showing her sharp wit before she exits. Sir Andrew, frustrated that Olivia shows no interest in him, decides he will leave the next day. However, Sir Toby convinces him to stay for another month, persuading him that there's still hope. He quote, I had bestowed that time in the tongues that I have in fencing, dancing, and beer beating. Or had I followed the arts. Significant. Sir Andrew laments on not studying the arts, believing it would have helped him win Olivia. His dramatic regret. However, it is itself a performance echoing the play's theme of love as a performative.
All right. So we have some new characters. Thank you very much. We have some new characters on the table. We have Toby, Maria, and kind of the idiot character, the butt of the joke, Andrew, argue cheek. Even as we look at the names of these characters, we can start to pin some characteristics to them, right? Like Toby Belch. That's quite a vulgar name, right? He's a vulgar guy, right? You can see belches a lot and quite loudly, right? Cheek is a funny name. It's a weird name that they make fun of later on. And he's a funny, silly guy, right? And so we have these guys with the strange names that kind of suit them quite a bit. We have Toby, Olivia's uncle, and Toby's friend. What do you think of Toby and Andrew's friendship? What do you think of their interactions, especially with how Toby kind of sets him up in trying to interact with someone who he knows is gonna outwit and embarrass him? Toby knows this guy can't handle Maria, but Toby kind of sends him out and talk to her. What do you think of their interaction, Toby and Aguichi? Anything interesting about Tony and Sir Aguichi? Toby and Sir Aguichi?
So I think that Sir Toby and Sir Andrew Aguicheek are from a different class to Maria. And as you mentioned pretty early on when we started, the way the higher class thinks of love and pursuit is very different to how the lower class considers love and pursuit, because Maria is almost instantaneously, she dismisses him and his attempts at her. Again, showing that she's not concerned about how wealthy they are. Actually, she can see through their fickleness and their, and she could see fools in a distance. That's what's happening here, you know. So I think the way love is looked at from the lower class as opposed to the higher class, it's not a performative one. She could dismiss you easily. And as you know, I mean, when you go through the play, you'll see her doing that quite often, and she's able to make a fool of the people who trying to think that she would be the first to fall for their little antics. Again, performative.
Yeah. So Maria seems to be quite grounded, quite sensible. And even Toby, even though he's kind of making a mockery of the situation for his own amusement, he too has a somewhat of a more realistic take on, marry this man, he's rich, take his money. I mean, that's not necessarily good, but it's at least a grounded reason to get with somebody, What can he get out of it? As opposed to Orsino, who is just his head in the clouds, he's just in love with love. It's like there's no rhyme or meaning behind Orsino's love, other than the aspect of, look at how heartbroken I am. I am chasing after love. Love is chasing after me. I'm so sad. It's really about, the performance of it. And we noticed that Sir Toby doesn't really respect Andrew. I don't know if he likes Andrew. He makes fun of him. Toby, I keep saying Tony. Toby is a very crass character. He makes a lot of crude jokes. And we know one thing about Andrew. He's stupid, but he's rich. He has money because he's a knight and he has been well paid. And so it becomes obvious. It's not obvious yet, but it becomes obvious that Toby's keeping Andrew around so he can leech off Andrew's money. Yes, Tia?
Sir, I was just about to say that Andrew seems like he's easily manipulated, and Toby realizes that and keeps using that to his own advantage.
Yes, definitely. Toby is quite an interesting character. Look at how Toby kind of sets up Andrew for failure, because Tony knows Maria. And Toby knows Andrew. He knows that Andrew isn't going to have any success with Maria. He's just going to be embarrassed. All right. So Toby is playing the wingman here. He's as tall a man as in Ilria. What's that to the purpose? So this is my friend. I'm trying to set you up with my friend. Look how tall he is. So what if he's tall? How does that relate to anything? What's the point, right? Quite a good question. Why? All right, so the height won't catch you. All right, I'll talk about money. He has 3,000 ducats a year. Rich guy. Aye, but he'll have but a year in all those ducats. He's a fool and a prodigal. You know, the saying, a fool and his money shall soon depart. Yes, he has money, but, you know, if he's not sensible, that money is going to be blown in 1 year. And then Toby continues to kind of give backhanded compliments. So he's trying to say, hey, this is a good guy, Maria. This guy is everything you need, but he's not really giving compliments, right? He's actually mocking Andrew in a way that Andrew will not be able to recognize, but Maria might be able to pick up. It's like Anansi kind of mocking or insulting Tiger, but Tiger can't recognize that, right? He hath indeed almost natural, for besides that he's a fool, he's a great quarreller, and but that he hath the gift of a coward to allay the gust he hath in quarrelling. 'Tis thought among the prudent he would quickly have the gift of a grave. Right. What do you think that means?
He loved to quarrel and pick fights. But if we didn't have the coward's gift, we didn't have the coward's gift, he would have died already.
Right. So so Maria is saying these are the gifts this guy has. He likes to argue, apparently, with women as well. And he's a coward. These are the only qualities this guy has. The only reason why he's still alive right now is because he runs away from fights. He's not even a real man, right? They add that, they that add moreover, he's drunk nightly in your company. So he's hanging out with you drinking. What good is a man like that? So we have here Maria, who seems to be very realistic in her assessment of, you know, a love candidate. She's able to pick Andrew apart and really discuss points about him that she doesn't like. Whereas we're going to see with Olivia and Orsino, they're not able to do that. They're too caught up in this idea of this romance story that they're not really realistically looking at the details of the people they're chasing though, right? So that's a big difference between Maria and, you know, the people up top who claim to be loved. That interesting difference is something we look at later on. Yes, Tia.
So is that what you were saying about like the poor in love and the rich in love? Because as you can see, it's not really easy for Maria to be born and to air quotes fall in love with Sir Andrew because of his money and his wealth and all the so-called skills he possesses. And she's actually rationalizing it and reasoning out. Whereas for everybody else that we've seen so far, when they hear about the person, they're like, ooh, I want that person. Be that person.
Yeah, so it's really two different approaches, right? You have a more rational, grounded approach, and then you have a more ear-headed approach, right? Maria is a more rational person. She's giving a more rational approach, whereas Orsino and Olivia, they're so blinded by the infatuation that they're not really doing any character assessment, right? They're just kind of playing a role, pretty much. They fall in love head over heels so quickly, so easily. And then what becomes ironic as well, we haven't gotten there yet. I don't want to get too much ahead of myself, but Orsino, you're a duke, you're a rich man, you have means. If you're so in love with Olivia, ride your best horse or take your best chariot and go to Olivia and talk to her. You're so in love with this woman and you're sending messengers to talk to her. So indirect, right? It's just such a performance. It's like the more characters he can have in his love story, the better. Why are you sending people to go and talk to Olivia? Is that a show of how genuine the love is? Or is it a show of how indirect you are and how vague you are in what you really feel? Let's see if we can get through the rest of this act. All right, who's going to touch on scene 4 for us?
Act 1, Scene 4. Viola, now disguised as Cesario, speaks with Valentine at Orsino's palace. Valentine informs Cesario that Orsino has quickly grown to trust him deeply, despite it only being 3 days since he entered Orsino's service. Viola's appearance as Cesario sets the stage for the gender confusion and mistaken identities that will unfold throughout the play. Orsino enters and confides in Cesario, instructing him to visit Olivia and use his youthful feminine appearance to persuade her to give Orsino an audience, despite Olivia's vows to see no one. After receiving his instructions, Viola privately laments her situation. She must plead Orsino's case to Olivia, though she has already fallen in love with Orsino herself. Viola's love for Orsino is complex, as her male disguise prevents her from openly expressing her feelings, contrasting with Orsino's more melodramatic expressions of love for Olivia. Key quotes: better a witty fool than a foolish wit. The significance: Feste reflects that it is better to be a witty fool than a foolish person who lacks wit. This comment emphasizes the unique role of the fool in Shakespeare's plays, where the fool often acts as a voice of reason and insight, despite being a jest. Feste's ability to move freely between social classes allows him to observe the foolishness of others, particularly in matters of love. In Twelfth Night, he highlights how love often makes people act foolishly, preferring his role as a witty fool who can mock these actions without getting caught up in them.
Thank you so much. Yes, that's a nice reading. And it seems as if the key quote doesn't have much to do with what's discussed here, but it does connect, because Feste is probably the only character who has a bird's eye view of everything that's happening. He's a character that knows everybody. He goes around and he can get away with asking anything and saying anything, because a part of his job is just being candid and being silly. But the audience quickly recognizes that the fool is quite wise. You have to actually be very, very wise and very witty to play the fool, right? You have to be, it's like stand-up comedy, Comedians might seem like comics or clowns, but how witty do you have to be to stand up for hours and say things that make people laugh and, respond off the top of your head and make jokes? It seems silly on the, that's a job, to stand up and make jokes, but you have to be clever in order to really manipulate one's emotions to the point where you can make them laugh. So the fool is not foolish at all. But back to Viola. The love triangle is starting to form, right? We have Viola, who has now fallen in love with Orsino. Orsino, who as you know, is in love with Olivia. And the triangle will soon be complete when Olivia falls in love with Viola. So we have two lines from the triangle already completed, right? We have Viola in love with, what's his name? Orsino. Orsino is in love with, oh no, we have the same letter? That's not good. Okay. Olivia is in love with, wait. Viola is in love with Orsino, but Orsino is in love with Olivia. And Olivia will soon fall in love with Viola. And Viola is also Cesaria. Cesaria is her disguised name. Most of the play will kind of center on this love triangle. How is Viola gonna, get the love of her life, Orsino? I have Orsino on here. Orsino. And how is Orsino gonna get the love of his life, Olivia? And how is Olivia gonna get the love of her life, Cesario, who is actually Viola, right? We start to see some ironies coming up as well. Some dramatic irony, especially because we, the audience, we know that Viola is Cesario, but nobody else knows that, and that is what's creating all this confusion. That's what's creating the confusion, right? Yeah.
So we could see that it's a type of dramatic irony.
Yeah, definitely dramatic irony, because we are aware of the disguised situation, but the other characters, they are tricked by it, and that, they're tricked, and they're being tricked is what motivates their own foolishness, because they don't know what's happening. And even Viola herself is trapped by her own trickery, because she prevents herself from being able to confess her love to Orsino. So now I meaning, speaking from Viola's point of view, I'm gonna have to go to this woman and tell her how much my boss loves her. But I don't want to do that, because I love my boss. What a difficult position she's found herself in. So we see that the disguise, which is meant to trick everybody else, is also, tricking Viola in that sense. Who wants to take on this? This one's a little longer. Can do page by page.
In Olivia's house, Maria scolds Feste, the clown, for his recent absence, but he responds by teasing her about her flirtations with Sir Toby Belch. Maria exits, warning Feste to keep quiet about it. Olivia enters in mourning attire with her steward, Malvolio.
She initially dismisses Feste, but he cheers her up by joking that mourning for her brother in heaven is foolish. Olivia is pleased, but Malvolio disapproves, calling Feste a fool. Olivia criticizes Malvolio for taking himself too seriously. Maria returns, announcing a young man at the gate who insists on seeing Olivia. Olivia assumes he is another messenger from Orsino. Malvolio is sent to dismiss him, but the messenger refuses to leave. Olivia becomes intrigued when Malvolio describes the messenger as
androgynous.
Androgynous, and she agrees to see him, asking for a veil to cover her face. Cesario, Viola in disguise, enters and delivers an elaborate speech praising Olivia's beauty. Olivia refuses to entertain the formal speech and asks Cesario to be straightforward. Despite Olivia's protests, Cesario persists and insists on a private audience with him. He quotes, "Oh, you are sick of self-love, Malvolio and taste with a distempered appetite." In this quote, Olivia criticizes Malvolio for being sick of self-love and having a distempered self-obsession. Skew his judgment, a distempered appetite, meaning that his excessive pride and self-obsession skew his judgment. Olivia is pointing out that Malvolio's arrogance clouds his perception of reality, making him pompous and difficult to deal with. This is especially ironic given that Malvolio is her steward, someone who should serve humbly, but instead he is full of self-importance. This moment foreshadows Malvolio's downfall later in the play, as his inflated sense of self leads him to believe that Olivia could love him.
All right, just finish up this, please. The rest of Act 1.
Olivia, intrigued, dismisses the attendants and converses privately with Cesario. Cesario reveals that the words come from Orsino, but Olivia remains uninterested even as Cesario describes Orsino's deep affection for her. Cesario's earnest plea impresses Olivia, but she maintains her refusal to love Orsino. Cesario cleverly remarks that if in Orsino's place, he would persist in his courtship by waiting outside Olivia's gate and continuing to express his love until she felt pity for him. This passionate poetic statement captures Olivia's attention. Olivia inquires about Cesario's background, and Cesario reveals that he is a gentleman, though his current circumstances have reduced him. Olivia dismisses Cesario with instructions to tell Orsino she cannot love him, but subtly hints that Cesario should return. Once alone, Olivia admits her growing attraction to Cesario. She sends Malvolio after him with a ring, lying that Cesario left it behind to ensure that he will return the next day. Olivia realizes her attraction is based on Cesario's looks and lament her irrational behavior, but she feels unable to resist her feelings.
Thank you so much. There's a lot to unpack in scene 5 here. It's a long scene, and that's why it requires 2 pages of analysis, right? We'll get to Malvolio next time. We have Malvolio in the picture now, but we won't deal with him right. What we want to deal with instead is Cesario, which we know that's Viola. She finally reaches Olivia's house, and she's just reeling out all of this poetry, this rehearsed poetry that Duke Orsino is forcing her to, or him, whatever you want to call her, whatever you want to call that person, forcing them to relate to Olivia. But Olivia is tired of his nonsense. Oh, this guy sending somebody else with poems and compliments. I'm so over it. But she seems interested in the messenger, which is very interesting. And so the love triangle is kind of complete now, where Olivia is catching some feelings for the page boy, right? What I find interesting is, just as Orsino predicted, Cesario's feminine appearance attracts Olivia, but it attracts Olivia even more than Orsino would have hoped, right? So Olivia, who I guess eventually plans to marry a man after the 7 years of mourning pass, is attracted to a man because he looks kind of like a woman. It's a little bit interesting. But this man, who is really a woman, doesn't return that feeling. And so what we have here is we have a triangle of unrequited love. It's only at the end of the play does that triangle kind of work itself out. And that working out of the triangle is also very strange. Because looking at how this triangle persists for almost the entire play, all of a sudden when the disguises are dropped, Orsino suddenly returns Viola's love. This person who you were seeing as a man the whole time, as soon as she looks like a woman, oh, I'm in love with you now. That's a little weird. How genuine is any of that? We're going to lead up to an interesting ending, right? But we can look at the end. We can foreshadow the ending because we've all read the play, so it's not a spoiler, right? The extent to which this is a happy ending is something I'd like to question. Is this a happy ending? Do people really get what they want? Yes, Viola is in love with Orsino the whole time. But isn't it funny how at the very end, as soon as he realizes, oh, you're a woman, okay, I love you now. Where did that come from? We know that Orsino would have been fond of Cesario. But being fond of someone as a servant and, trusting them is very different from having romantic feelings. Yes, Justice.
Cheer me up. The first part study was he wanted love. He wanted it till he wanted no more. Then maybe he didn't love Olivia, but actually just wanted to be loved. And maybe that's why when she revealed she was a woman, her name slipped out of my head.
Viola?
Yes, when Viola revealed that she's an actual woman, he loved her instead. Maybe.
Yeah, it does go back to the point that he's just chasing after this idea of love. And what I think the reason he went after Olivia in the first place is because he knew that Olivia wasn't going to return his love. So he decided to fight a losing battle so that he could be the sympathetic, heartbroken hero. He wanted to play that character, and so he goes after love he knows won't be returned so that he can have the violins playing for him and have everybody saying, oh, what a character. He wanted to play that role, and that is why he went for the only woman that he couldn't get. He's a rich duke. He could get anybody. Who does he go after? The woman who says, I don't want to see a man for the next 7 years. That's your candidate? That's the one woman in the whole country that you're going to pursue? Clearly, he wants this pursuit, right? But at the end, perhaps he's tired of the pursuit. He finally gets his request. In the beginning, he says, if music is the food of love, give me enough that I don't even want it anymore. Maybe he doesn't want that anymore at the end. And so he says, all right, this person has been in love with me. Let me just switch gears and get with that person and stop the foolish chasing, right? So perhaps at the end there is some change of mentality about love. Or you could interpret it as there's no way Orsino could love Viola all of a sudden just because he finds out she's a woman, right? And before she even changes into the womanly clothes at the end, he's already accepting her as a partner while she's still looking kind of like a man. So is it that whoever just works? I don't know. I don't know what Orsino is really about.
It's right, sir. I don't know who is desperate and delusional at the same time.
And I mean, you would think that a duke would have no need to be desperate and delusional. Right? That's what you would think. But here we have it. So yeah, we have the love triangle fully formed now. Everybody is chasing after the lover they can't get, pretty much, until the very end. And we'll see some more about Festa that we can get into another time. Anything else to touch on here?
One thing I think, though, sir, I think Festa needs to be more than a jester.
What do you mean?
He's wise. He has sense. He can act. He never refuses that. He needs to be more than a jester, in my opinion.
That's why he's a jester. Because you need to be the smartest man in the room to play the fool. That is kind of the idea behind Festa. If you're an actual fool, you can't play the fool. You're just gonna be like Agichik. That's an actual fool now. So if you want to contrast characters, you can look at Andrew Agichik versus Festa. Someone who is, what was that quote? Andrew Agichik is someone who is a foolish wit, right? Yeah, foolish wit. Someone who thinks They are sensible, but they're actually stupid. Whereas Feste is a witty fool. He's a fool by profession. That's what he pretends to be. But he's actually witty. Just like Anansi, he can manipulate with language. He knows how to maneuver the world. And he's well traveled because as a fool being his job description, not his personality, just his job. As a fool, he has to travel from place to place, and he basically gets commissioned to make people laugh, to make people's lives interesting. So he goes around, he knows what's happening, right? So not only is he wise, but he's quite knowledgeable in current affairs. And we'll get to analyzing Feste a little bit more, especially when we get to character analysis. We'll take a look at just how wise Feste is and some of the lessons we can learn as we look at Feste. Are we able to see a comic strip?
Yes, sir.
All right, nice. I want 2 readers to help me out. I want 1 reader from my class and 1 reader from Miss Williamson's class. And I want you guys to just alternate reading the pages. So 5 pages to read. All right, so Tia, you start from page 1. Who from my class will do page 2? Short comic strip, just a little bit of dialogue. Come on, guys.
Can I do page 2?
All right, thank you, Isaac. All right, so go ahead. Page 1. Let's read with some expression, yeah?
Okay. If music be the food of love, play on. Give me excess of it.
Okay, that's enough, guys. Cut it out. Oh, Olivia, all I do is mope around all day thinking about how much I love her. Alas. Cheer up, sir. Don't interrupt me while I'm being self-indulgently tragic, Curio. My lord, the Lady Olivia, what news from her? She is mourning her brother's death and refuses to be seen for 7 years. Sorry. Wow, if she loved her brother that much, just imagine how much she loved her future husband, aka me. Oops, time for me to wander in the garden while lamenting about being in love. Come on.
Thank you. All right, next page.
Sorry about that whole shipwreck incident. Here we are in dry land. What country, friends, is this? This is Illyria. Do you think my brother might have survived the shipwreck? I saw him tie himself to a mast as the ship went down, but I wouldn't hold your breath. I guess I'm stuck in Illyria. Can you give me some useful plot exposition, Captain? Well, according to the recent issue of the Illyria Tatler, the Duke Orsino wants to marry the Countess Olivia, but she is in mourning for her dead brother and won't see anyone. Hold on. I'm about to get a brilliant idea. Got it. Captain, will you help me dress up as a boy and present me to Ursula as a singing... Was this with eunuch? As a singing eunuch? So I can serve them? Hello? Captain? Sorry, I was waiting for the brilliant idea. That was the brilliant idea. Oh, yes, I can do that.
Nice. I love the voice changing.
Love it.
Yeah, very nice. So we're not lost, right? We know what's happening in these 2 scenes so far, yeah?
Yes, sir.
We have our boy Orsino being all melodramatic, and then we switch over to Viola, who is just getting that idea going that, let me dress up as a man. Basically, the captain is going to help her out with that. All right, back to Tia, your scene.
Is that Hick? I can't really see it.
Yeah, maybe that's Hick. Whatever it is.
Okay. Oh, my head. Sir Toby, you must stop staying up so late drinking. Pa, she's such a sticking... Oh, it's the other way around. Okay. Your niece Olivia has been complaining about you. Pa, she's such a stick in the mud. And what's this about you bringing a knight here to woo her? You know she's in mourning. What, Sir Andrew Aguchi? He's very rich. He's an idiot. Okay, the 2 things are not mutually exclusive. And here he comes. Welcome, Sir Andrew. Hello there, Sir Toby. May I introduce you to Maria, my niece's chambermaid? Oh, bless you, fair shrew. You are an idiot. That went as well as could be expected. Sir Toby, I'm leaving. Your niece won't even see me. Oh, come on. It'll be fine. Trust me. I'll stay a month longer. That's the spirit. Let's get a drink. You're buying. Haha, okay.
Nice. Isaiah.
Wow, Cesario, you only been here 3 days and already you are Orsino's favorite companion. Oh, shucks. Cesario. Just the man I was looking for. I told you to go over to Olivia's household. her from me, win her love for me, but she's still in mourning. She'll never see me. Nonsense. She won't be able to refuse such a fresh-faced young boy as you. I mean, just look at you. You can hardly even be called a man. Your face is so smooth, your voice is so high. In fact, one might also think that you are... that you are actually... No, that's too silly. Go off and woo Olivia for me now. There's a good boy.
But I love you.
You know. All right, Tia, back to you. Scene 5, part 1.
Come to your upstage him.
Bester, where have you been? My lady Olivia will be furious that you've been gone for so long. Oh, don't worry. I can walk my way out of anything. Look out, here she comes. God bless thee, lady. Take this fool away. That's right. Take away the lady. Sir, I bid them away. You. Give me leave to prove you a fool, lady. Sigh, whatever, fine. Lady, why mournest thou? Good fool for my brother's death. I think his soul is in hell, lady. I know his soul is in heaven, fool. The more fool you to mourn for your brother's soul being in heaven. Take away the fool. Bumtish. Okay. What think you, Malvolio? What was that supposed to be? A joke? Anyone who has to actually say bum when they tell a joke is clearly not very funny.
Yeah. This was written a little strangely, right? But nice job. I guess that they're imitating that kind of sarcastic drum roll for when something isn't quite funny, just to indicate that was supposed to be a joke.
Yes, but it's a quick old phrase.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to kind of read out the song.
So his grave was set before he knew.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So we're dealing. This is Fool, and who is Fool talking to here? Olivia, right? Remember that Fool is our wise guy, pretending to be like this kind of stupid character, but he's actually quite wise. He's like a jester, right? And the higher ups will hire him out to cheer them up and to entertain them. So we have Olivia being entertained by the Fool, but the Fool is actually being quite wise. Why are you mourning your brother if you say he's in heaven? Isn't he in a good place? You must be foolish for mourning someone being in paradise. And as we go back to here, the page that Isaiah read, we're looking at Cesario and what's his name? Orsino. The love triangle is starting to form, right? Orsino is sending Cesario to help him get Olivia, but Cesario actually loves Orsino. But of course, she/C can't admit that because she's dressed up as a man pretending to be somebody she's not. All right, Isaiah, part 2 of scene 5.
Madam, there's a young man at the gate who wants to speak with you. Sir Toby is with him. Oh no, not Toby. Malvolio, go see what he wants. If he comes from Orsino, tell him to get lost. Yes, ma'am. Oh, there you are, Uncle Toby. Who is at the gate? It's a plague of these pickled here, I'm hearing. How on earth are you drunk already? It's not even lunchtime. Oh, never mind. Go lie down or something. Madam, the youth insists on seeing you. I couldn't get him to go away. What sort of man is he? Not old enough for a man, nor young enough for a boy. He's quite pretty and has a very shrill voice. One would think his mother's milk was scarce out of him. In fact, one might also think that he was actually a... No, what an absurd idea. Send him in.
Thank you. Yeah, nice reading indeed. And this comic is, of course, it's not word for word what's in the text. It's kind of giving us an even stronger hint that the characters are almost able to realize that something is off, something is strange with this Cesario, but they can't quite put their finger on it, right? So that point is not made so clear in the actual text. So this might be a bit of a stretch, like he could be. But this might be what the characters might be thinking as they see Cesario, but they're not quite sure, that this guy is still good enough to hold up. Back to Tia, let's run part 3 of scene 5.
Now, where's this saucy messenger boy from the Duke Orson? Most sweet lady, my lord loves you. Ooh. I cannot love him. He might I've took his answer long ago. What if I did love you in my master's flame? Why, what would you? Make me a willow cabin at your gate, and call upon my soul within the house. Hallow your name to the reverberate hills, and make the babbling gossip of the air cry out, Olivia, you might do much. Go back to Orsino and tell him I cannot love him. Let him send to me no more. Farewell, fair cruelty, unless you come again, that is. What is happening to me? Malvolio. Yes, madam. That upstart left Orsino's ring with me. I'll none of it. Return it to him. What am I doing?
Thank you. Yes, and at the end there, this ring thing is just a ploy. We know that he did not actually leave a ring. She's just trying to find a way, an excuse, to get that young man back here so she can talk to him. Alright, so this is scene 2. So we'll stop there with the comics, and we'll use the comics again later on to recap scene 2. Act 2, scene 1. We're going to meet some new characters now. Alright, we've been dealing with the love triangle and also with Toby and his foolishness. Now we have 2 new characters to handle. The Act 2, Scene 1. Antonio tries to convince Sebastian to stay with him. Moved by Antonio's concern, Sebastian reveals his true identity and shares his grief over his twin sister's death. So we have these 2 new characters, right? We have Antonio and Sebastian. Who is Sebastian really? Who is Sebastian? Who's twin? Okay, so Viola's brother, right? And what does he think about Viola?
That she's dead.
Right.
She drowned.
So both siblings think that the other is dead or has drowned, right? So very interesting. More dramatic irony. We're going to look at devices at the end, but we're going to see that dramatic irony comes up a lot, where the characters have one idea which is incorrect, but the audience know what's actually happening, and that adds to the humor because we get to watch all of these confused people fumble around, not having a clue what's really going on. Despite his own danger at Orsino's court, because Antonio is basically wanted, Antonio decides to follow Sebastian out of devotion, hinting at a deeper emotional bond between the two, right? So we have another kind of relationship forming here though. Antonio and Sebastian, and we can interpret this in one of 2 ways. Either Antonio is just being a really good, loyal friend, willing to risk his life to help his friend, or there's some deeper, more romantic bond kind of brewing on Antonio's end. We'll be able to choose which interpretation we think is more correct as we read. A key quote from this scene here. But come what may, I do adore thee so, that danger shall seem sport, and I will go. Yeah, I adore you so much, right? I am so loyal to you that any kind of danger I face, that's nothing. I can handle it. So in this quote, spoken by Antonio in Act 2, he expresses his deep affection and loyalty to Sebastian, who we know is Viola's twin brother. Antonio declares that no matter what happens, his love for Sebastian is so strong that he will willingly face danger for him, making it seem as insignificant as a game or sport. Despite knowing that he risks his life by going to Illyria, Antonio is willing to follow Sebastian out of devotion. This moment highlights Antonio's selfless and unwavering love, which, very importantly, contrasts with the more superficial and performative expressions of love by other characters. So we have some more characters. We've met these 2, and immediately, even though they haven't gotten that much screen time yet, just in this scene, we notice that their bond seems much more genuine than this hanky-panky foolishness with Orsina and Olivia. They can't even talk to each other directly, sending messengers back and forth, all this performative stuff, playing on instruments and this melancholy. This is all madness, foolishness. But then we see 2 people who are a show of true devotion. Whether you want to see it as true friendship or something deeper. So again, we have some characters who are kind of showing up. Orsino and Olivia. Lots of different contrasts. So this scene basically introduces these 2 characters. Remember, Viola is searching. Who is Viola searching for? What is her main aim? Viola, dressed up as Cesario.
To find her brother.
Good.
Finally,
Right, she wants to find Sebastian, right? So we can start to anticipate how these pair characters are going to meet up with Viola and you know, her set of people. Viola is looking for Sebastian. Sebastian is looking for Viola. So we know that Shakespeare is going to find some interesting, confusing, comedic way for the characters to meet up. One of the things that Shakespeare is really good at doing is he gives us a few plots, a few character sets that seem disconnected at first, but then he finds some way for them to all meet up in one piece of confusion and chaos. Nobody knows who is who. So we can look forward to that confusion happening. Yeah. All right, we jump down to scene 2. A volunteer, take us through scene 2.
May I try, sir?
Yes, Paris.
Act 2, Scene 2. Malvolio delivers a ring from Olivia to Cesario, claiming Olivia has nothing more to say to Orsino. Although confused, Cesario plays along, and Malvolio angrily throws the ring and leaves. Viola realizes Olivia is in love with her male disguise, Cesario. This creates a complex love triangle. Orsino loves Olivia, Olivia loves Cesario or Viola, and Viola loves Orsino. Viola reflects on the complications caused by her disguise and concludes that only time can resolve this tangled situation. He quote, "Disguise, I see thou art a wickedness, wherein the pregnant enemy does much significance." In this quote from Act 2, Scene 2, Viola, disguised as Cesario, reflects on the complications and confusion of her disguise has caused. She realizes that her disguise is deceptive and leads to unintended consequences, as Olivia has fallen in love with Cesario, not knowing that he is actually Viola in disguise. The pregnant enemy refers to the potential for deception that disguises carry, allowing misunderstandings and emotional turmoil to flourish.
Thank you. Viola is the most self-aware character, right? She's the character who can quickly recognize the situation she's in. She's the only one so far who is really understanding, okay, things are confusing, things are chaotic, misunderstandings are afoot because it's being caused by her own disguise, right? Let's see if we can pick out a few pieces of this scene. Act 2, Scene 2, right? So this is her little monologue here, Viola. In this monologue, she recognizes that her disguise is creating problems. She recognizes that Olivia is falling in love with not quite her, but the person who she's pretending to be, which doesn't exist, right? And we can see her working it out in her head, figuring out what's happening. And this is actually helping the audience to figure out what's happening too, for those who are not quick enough to figure it out on their own. Because Viola is thinking aloud. I left no ring with her. What means this lady? So she knows that this ring thing is some kind of ploy, some kind of plan or trick. But what does it mean? Fortune forbid my outside have not charmed her. I hope she doesn't like how I look. I hope that's not what's happening here. My outside. What is the outside? My outside, Nani?
Her appearance or her disguise as a manson.
Exactly. So I'm hoping she doesn't see this outward appearance and is, is smitten by it. She made good view of me. Indeed, so much that sure methought her eyes had lost her tongue. For she did speak instant, distractedly. So he's recognizing, oh man, this woman was probably there falling in love with my disguise. Based on how she was looking at me, based on how, she was lost for words and she had this distracted look. What have I done? So Viola is recognizing the problems that her disguise is about to create. And this is really making things interesting for the audience. Yeah. All right, let's jump on to scene 3. All right, another volunteer for scene 3. Let's run it.
Can I go?
Yes, run it, please.
Sir Toby, Sir Andrew, and Feste are up late, drinking and singing loudly in Olivia's house. Maria warns them to be quiet, or Olivia will have Malvolio throw them out. But Sir Toby dismisses the concern. Malvolio enters, furious at the noisy behavior, and berates the group for treating Olivia's house like a tavern. He threatens to tell Olivia and storms off, while Maria tries to calm the situation, mentioning Olivia's distress over Cesario. Maria devises a prank to trick Malvolio by forging a love letter from Olivia, knowing Malvolio's vanity will lead him to believe the letter is for him. Sir Toby and Sir Andrew and Feste will watch Malvolio's reaction. Yeah. After Maria leaves, Sir Toby and Sir Andrew comment on their cleverness, while Sir Andrew worries about running out of money, but is reassured by Sir Toby that he still has a chance with Olivia. What is love? 'Tis not hereafter present mirth hath present laughter. Wow, tongue twister. Significant. In this quote from Act 2, Scene 3, Festive Clown sings a song that reflects on the fleeting nature of life and love. The song suggests that love is not something guaranteed in the future, but something that should be enjoyed in the present. True. Present mirth hath present laughter means that we should embrace joy and laughter in the moment rather than worrying about what is to come. Tell that to adults.
All right. A lot happens in this scene, right? It's a very active scene where we see a lot going on. We see a number of characters kind of doing some stuff. Malvolio, he starts to take center stage a little bit. He's on the beginning of his downfall, but he doesn't know it yet. So we learn about Malvolio's personality. What do we learn about his personality here?
He's quite prideful, sir.
Quite prideful, yes.
Very vain.
Vain, prideful. He thinks he's better than everybody else. He thinks that, yes, go ahead.
He's strict.
He's strict too, but that strictness is coming from the fact that he thinks he's the big boss. Oh, be quiet, be quiet. This is the marketplace. Quiet down. He's acting like he's the boss. He's kind of the boss of them, though, to be honest. And he thinks that he's actually not in the lower class, which he is. Or he thinks he doesn't belong there. So we've met people like these, right, who act like they're better than everybody else, act like they're in charge when they're not really in charge. They act like, they're the best of the best.
Sir, interestingly, I met few persons like that, and they never seem to work on me. Like, I just have a natural immunity for them, sir.
Well, I'm telling you that immunity, we're going to see that same immunity in these characters, Maria and Toby, because what they do with Malvolio, Malvolio is going to wish he never got involved with them. So the plan begins. All right, this guy's acting all cocky, all confident, all prideful, all egotistical. He wants to show us up like we're nobodies. We're going to get him. And they devise this plan. We're going to write this love letter. We're going to forge Olivia's handwriting. Because he loves Olivia, and what he would love the most is for Olivia to say, come, my sweet Malvolio, marry me and be my husband. Join the upper ranks officially. That's what he wants to hear.
Because in one of his daydreaming, he actually said that, and he also described what he's going to do if. So let's say it in his words, when he is there.
So they know his dream, and they're going to use that against him, his own ambition, right? It's all right, we're going to write this letter, trick him, and just watch him play the fool, watch him get all excited, watch him, boast about it. And then the climax is going to be when he faces Olivia, who has no idea about this madness, and it's going to be so embarrassing. And so they leave it at that, plan in motion. All right, scene 4. Give me another reader.
Orsino lounges in his palace as usual, surrounded by Cesario, Curio, and other attendants. He asks for music and requests Feste to sing a love song. Cesario admits he is in love, but when Orsino asks about the woman, Cesario describes someone very similar to Orsino himself. Orsino, oblivious to Cesario's hints, dismisses the idea of love from women, claiming men love more deeply and should marry younger women because their beauty fades quickly. Feste arrives and sings a melancholic love song. Afterward, Orsino gives him coins and dismisses everyone except Cesario. Orsino sends Cesario to woo Olivia again on his behalf. Cesario subtly suggests Orsino should give up, hinting that unrequited love is painful, and tells a disguised story of her own love for Orsino. Orsino brushes this off and sends Cesario to Olivia with Jewel, once again focusing on his own desires. Key quote, then let thy love be younger than thyself, or thy affection cannot hold the belt. Significance. In this quote from Act 2, Scene 4, Duke Orsino advises Cesario, Viola in disguise, about love and marriage. Orsino suggests that a man should marry a woman younger than himself, believing that only then can love last. He argues that men's affection can changeably and more intense than women's, implying that a younger woman would have a better chance of keeping up with the man's fluctuating desires. This advice reveals Orsino's traditional and somewhat self-centered view of love, focused more on control and sustaining affection than unusual connection.
Thank you, Tia. So we're getting more of Orsino's character and point of view, and it's like the more we know of him, the less likable he seems as a character. He's not quite a villain, but he's also not super likable, is he? And we're noticing that he's also very oblivious. He's one of those oblivious characters who can't really see what's happening around him. He can't take a hint, and that creates some frustration for the audience. So the audience is saying, open your eyes, man. Don't you see that Viola is basically confessing her love for you? How can you not see it? What are you talking about, right?
There is somebody. You need somebody to like slap him. Like one would slap reality. Like
he needs a wake-up slap.
He's not seeing that. And also, would it say that he's trying to date a younger woman?
I mean, I guess Olivia is younger than himself because that's his philosophy. You know, he's saying, you know, only young women can keep up with the intense and changeable love of a man. But it's interesting how because changeable, is that really a very positive aspect of love?
No, and in the sense that he's trying to look a younger woman, would that make him the head up?
I mean, Olivia isn't a child. So I wouldn't go that far. But it could suggest at a kind of emotional immaturity where perhaps, even though he's spinning it in his own, he has his own explanation. But the reality could be that a more mature woman who is more experienced maybe would be a bit too much for him to handle because he's still in his love-struck Disney prince kind of phase. That could be one interpretation. Or it could just be that he's just more attractive to younger women, but he wants to justify that with some deep philosophical reasoning that doesn't really add up. That could also be it. Let's see if we can find some interesting quotes here. So yeah, this is where he can't quite take a hint, right? Alright, let's look at the modern English for this section. You've fallen in love with a woman before, am I right, boy? So Orsino talking to Viola. A little bit, sir. Of course, Viola is thinking about not a woman, but Orsino, because she's in love with him. What kind of woman is she? She looks something like you. That's a big hint. The audience is seeing it, but he's too caught up in his own mind to recognize that Viola is actually talking about him. She's not worthy of you then. How old is she? About your age, my lord. It's getting more obvious, but not to Orsino. She's too old, by heaven. A woman should be with a man older than she is so that she can adapt herself to her husband and keep his love constant. We men praise ourselves, boy, but in reality we are more fickle and inconstant in love than women are. Is he talking about men or is he talking about himself?
Speak for himself.
You speak for yourself, man. Don't get me involved. I mean, don't get me involved. What do you know about me, right? Because we know that he's quite fickle and inconstant. You know, his love changes with the weather. It's all about whatever emotion he's able to feel in the moment. And you see that at the end of the play, when all of a sudden his affection switches to Viola because she becomes the available one, pretty much. Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, those are the most interesting points of this scene here. The last scene here. One more read and then we'll wrap up with the comics again.
Act 2, Scene 5. Sir Toby and Sir Andrew and Fabian hide in Olivia's garden, while Maria informs them that Malvolio is coming. They prepare to watch as the prank unfolds. Malvolio enters, daydreaming aloud about marrying Olivia and becoming a count. The hidden onlookers struggle to contain their laughter as Malvolio spots the fake letter Maria planted. Malvolio reads a letter allegedly from Olivia, hinting at her love for someone whose name contains M-O-A-I. He concludes it to refer to him and continues to read the instructions to be surely wear yellow stockings, cross his garters, and smile constantly to show he returns her affection. Overjoyed, Malvolio resolves to follow the letter's instructions, believing that it will win him Olivia's love. He exits, excited by his delusion. Sir Toby is so impressed with Maria's prank that he expresses his interest in marrying her, and they rush off to witness Malvolio make a fool of himself. Key quote: "Be not afraid of greatness, for some are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them." Significance: in this famous quote from Act 2, Scene 5, Malvolio reads a letter he believes is written from Olivia, but which is actually a prank set up by Maria. This letter includes the above the line about greatness. Malvolio interprets this line as a sign that he can achieve greatness by marrying Olivia, who was born great. This moment reveals how easily Malvolio's arrogance and ambition can be manipulated, as he begins to believe in the possibility of rising above his social class. This quote also highlights how love and social ambition become tools for manipulation in Twelfth Night.
Thank you, Ayana. Excellent reading. And so we're getting some more focus on this prank that's about to be pulled off, and it's going to be a prank of epic proportions, right? When this hits, we get some details. They've written up the letter, and the instructions in the letter are so ridiculous. This is all the madness Malvolio is going to be doing. He's going to wear yellow stockings, already crazy. Cross his garters, smile constantly. So you can imagine how stupid he's going to look doing all of this. But Malvolio is going to be doing it so pridefully, thinking he's playing into Olivia's interest in him, right? What a prank. Devious prank. Interestingly, Toby recognizes Maria's genius and expresses interest in marrying her. What do you think of this little fact?
He's almost like Malvolio in the sense that he wants to become greater than what he is.
What is this about him wanting to be great? That's what I'm wondering.
He wants to seize the greatness.
Toby? You think Toby cares about greatness?
Sir, maybe he's greedy?
Greedy? Greed?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Could it be, I'm not sure if I'm saying this correctly, but is it the fact that they both have similar qualities? Like, he likes the sense of humor?
You mean Toby and Maria?
Yes, sir.
So what does that say about, remember, we're looking at, as we go through the play, how the lower characters view love versus how the higher characters view love. What is interesting about Toby's interest in Maria after seeing how brilliant she is?
He gets straight to the point.
That's one part, which is important, but I wanted to get to the more important point. Talk to me. Let me try to find the lines.
Was it that Sir Toby married Maria because he was impressed by her wit and intelligence?
So how is that different from I want to get violent, but Orsino's and Olivia's view of love?
Well, their view of love is too ridiculous and silly, as opposed to Maria, who has wit and wisdom and cleverness.
But let's look at it from the perspective of Toby, the one falling in love with Maria. Right? Toby's... Go ahead.
He didn't come out wooing. He just got straight to the point. He see what he wants and wait to go and get it. And he's not screaming. He's not singing songs. He's not behaving stupidly. He's just to the point.
Yeah, that's definitely... am I in the wrong... That's definitely a part of it. How he responds to the emotion. But what I want to get at is, do you think that... Oh man, I'm at 03 here. Do you think that Toby's love is more justified and more sensible than, for example, Orsino's?
It is.
Yeah?
I think Orsino only love Olivia because of the fact that she's beautiful and also in power. But Toby, on the other hand, he just loves Naria because she's smart.
So,
I don't think they're loving, they're trying to love for benefits. He's just loving because he found a trait in a woman that he likes.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to get at, right? We see one person falling in love with the person, with the characteristics. Oh man, this woman, she impresses me. I want to marry her. As opposed to this man sitting in his daydream, just having this whole delusional fantasy that is not grounded. He doesn't know anything about Olivia, right? So there's a big difference in how love is viewed, how love is pursued as well, right? We have one love grounded in something real, right? Maria is really a genius. Maria is really funny and smart. So there's something that Toby can be attracted to. Whereas in Orsino's case, there's no interaction for them to know anything about each other. So there's a very big difference between, these two approaches to love. Very big difference. All right, let's wrap up by looking again at the comics. And again, I want two readers. One from my side, one from... All right, Justice, who's going to take it up from my side? David, Haley, come on, don't be too quiet. Don't let me down. Come on, let's get it done. Vashti, you're here. Have you been here? Were you here all along, Vashti? I think.
Tracy?
All right, Varys.
Okay.
Varys, start us off and then Justice, take page 2.
Okay. I'm not seeing the comic yet. I've just seen the slide. So.
All right, let me switch that up. All right, we should be good.
I come from, sir.
Good.
Oh, okay. So I can start now, sir?
Mm-hmm.
Act 2, Scene 1. Rodrigo, must you leave me? Let me go with you. I love you. Antonio, you have been kind to me. I shall tell you the truth. I am not Rodrigo. I am actually Sebastian, son of Sebastian Messaline. I had a twin sister who drowned in the shipwreck from which you saved me. She was beautiful, even though she looked exactly like me. Wait, you had an identical twin sister? Everyone knows boy or girl twins are never identical. You see, boy-girl twins are dizygotic, whereas identical twins are I'm sorry for your loss. Also love you. I'm going to Duke Orsino's court in Illyria. Farewell. Alas, I have many enemies in Orsino's court, but gosh darn it, I love that boy so much. I'll follow him. Don't look at me like that. This is tender devotion. It's just looks like stalking.
All right. Thank you. Very entertaining reading. The comics here, they take some liberties. They kind of go a little bit overboard to exaggerate some points, right? We even see him looking at the audience. We can imagine sometimes characters might look directly at the audience to say something funny, right? One thing we haven't pointed out is the kind of love we see between these two characters, Antonio and Sebastian, is also different from the type of love we see from Orsino, Olivia, right? In that this love is based in action, devotion. I'm willing to do this for you. I'm willing to follow you. I'm willing to risk. Whereas, what is Orsino doing? He's sitting in his castle, sending people to to give messages. He's not doing anything. He's not proving his love, right? So we see Shakespeare is really showing us so many different types of love, and he's using all of these different loves to criticize the ridiculousness of Orsino and Olivia and how they navigate love. All right, Justice, you're up.
You there? You were just with the Countess Olivia, were you not? Yes. Here, she returns the Lord's ring to you. Tell him she wants nothing more to do with him. What ring? The ring that you left with her. Take it back. I left no ring with her. What means this lady? Haha. I hope she hasn't fallen in love with me. Uh-oh. Okay. Let me see if I've got this straight. I love Orsi, but he thinks I'm a boy. And he thinks I'm in love with Olivia, who also thinks I'm a boy and is in love with me. Oh, time though must you untangle this knot. It is too hard a knot for me to untie.
Nice. It's too hard a knot for me to untie. I think that's a direct quote from the text. In other words, I've gotten myself into this mess and I don't know how to get out. Alright, back to you, Varys.
Act 2, Scene 3, Part 1. Wow, said Toby. It's past midnight. What late? To go to bed after midnight is to be up early. I don't get it. Hey, look. It's sing us a song, will you? I'll sing you a song of sixpence. Oh, mistress mine, where are you booming? Oh, stay and hear your true love's coming. Beautiful. Such sensitive ballad, poignant, wistful. But enough of that. Let's all get stinking drunk and sing loud, obnoxious songs at the top of our lungs. Hold thy peace, thou knive. Hold thy peace. Hold thy peace. Dum-dee-dum. Good Lord, what is wrong with you? My lady has called her steward Malvolio to throw you out. Ha! I'm her uncle. She would never throw me out. But Malvolio, putrid platoon. He's a dope. He's an idiot. He's standing right behind me, isn't he? Yes.
Milady says if you don't start behaving properly, you will be turned out of the house, and I won't be sad to see you go either. Who are you to boss me around? Aren't any more than a sport? Dost thou think because thou art virtuous, there shall be no more cake and ale? Get lost, you loser. Wait. My lady knows. My lady shall know of this. Sorry, sir. My lady shall know of this. God should be sorry, barbarian. What a beast. I'll have half a mind to challenge him to a duel and beat him. No, wait. I have a better idea to get back at Malvolio. He's got such an inflated opinion of himself. I'll write a letter that will appear to be a love letter to him. I'll drop it somewhere where he'll find it, and my handwriting is very similar to the lady Olivia's. So he'll think it's my niece who's in love with him. Brilliant. I'll get right to her. She's amazing. She is indeed. She adores me. But what's up that? I was adored once too. Damn. Maybe it's hard for you.
Alright. Nice. See the scheme being set up. I like how Justice has a special voice for Malvolio. And Varys has a special voice for Toby. Eh? Alright, scene 4, Varys, that's you.
Okay, who sang that song the other night? Thursday, my lord. Yes, send for him. Oh, Cesario, if you ever love, remember my agony. I am the most tragic lover in the world. Have you ever been in love, my boy? A little, by your favor. Really? What kind of woman is she? She looks a little bit like you. She is not with thee. With thee then? How old is she? About as old as you? Oh dear. Far too old for a boy. Like you? Yeah. No, we men should only take women younger than us, younger than ourselves. For women are as roses, whose far flower we once displayed doth fall that very hour. And so they are, alas, that they are so, to die even when they to perfection grow. What was that saying?
Alright. Aha, there's the fool. Come sing us that sad song you sang for me earlier. Come away, death, fly away, breathe. I am slain by a fair calumny. Thanks, fool. Anytime, fool. Cesario goes once more to Olivia's and tell her how much I love her. But what if she doesn't love you? It cannot so be answered. What if there's a lady who loves you as much as you love Olivia? Ha! Women cannot love deeply and passionately as we men. That's not true. My father had a daughter who loved a man, and it might be where a woman should love your lordship. Haha. She never told her love, but sat like patient on a monument, smiling at me. But thy doubts, thy sister of thy love, my boy. I am all the great daughters of my father's house. So, do you want me to go back to Olivia's? Yes. Yes, I love Olivia. A woman, yes. Indeed, go to her.
Yeah, thank you. Man, I'm getting a little bit frustrated with Orsino. Look how plain Viola is being. I mean, when I say plain, it's obvious to us, right? My father had a daughter who loved a man. And then she says here, I am all the daughters of my father's house. I'm the only daughter my father has. So I must be talking about myself, right? But Orsino isn't paying attention at all. Alright, Vars, let's go.
Act 2, Scene 5, Part 1. Okay, we're all ready to get our revenge on that sticker prig Malvolio. Sir Andre?
Ready?
Newly introduced and arguably extraordinarious sidekick Fabian? Already.
Quiet. It's coming. I'll leave the matter for him to find.
Go hide in some conveniently placed shrub over there. Convenience. Dum da dum bum. Yes, I'm sure my Lady Olivia loves me. Yuck. Ew. I mean, why won't she? I'm marvelous. I'm going to be Count Malvolio. Yes, things would be different if I ran this place. I could finally deal with that irritating Toby. That's irritating Sir Toby to you. Cousin Toby, I'd say to him, you must amend your drunkenness. Besides, you waste your time with a foolish knight.
Hey, that's me. One.
Sir, not Sir Andrew. I knew 'twas I.
But what have we here, Alexa? Here it comes. It is my lady's handwright. These be her very C's and her very C's, her U's and her T's. Shh, haha. That's what's so funny. Her C's, her U's, N and T's spells. Oh, never mind. To the unknown beloved, a love letter? Ooh, if this should be to thee, Malvolio, I may command thee, I adore M-O-A-I. Doth sweet my life, M-O-A-I. 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 Come on. Wait, all of those letters are in my name. This letter is intended for me. Yes. In my stars, I am above thee, but not afraid of greatness. Some are born great, some achieve greatness, and others have greatness. Thus upon them, I'll just love it when you wear yellow stockings cross-gartered. Be just like that again. That's a bit weird, but okay. You must know who I am. If you return my love, show it to me by smiling all the time. My lady loves me. Yay. My lady loves me. I'm happy. I will do everything she says. Ha 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 ha. Did he fall for it? Hook, line, and sinker. The next time he comes to Olivia, he'll be wearing yellow stockings, grinning like a fool. Ha ha. Probably humiliation of social inferiors is so funny.
Thank you.
Thanks. Hook, line, and a sinker. Would it be like a fishing?
Yes, that's a fishing idiom. Hook, line, and sinker means that we got it all. This is secure. Did he fall for it? Like, he fell for it 100%. Hook, line, sinker is completely caught. Like when they catch a fish on the hook and they can't escape. That's how we've got Malvolio. Yes. All right. And then we have Act 3 to look at later on. All right, back in the guide. So I'll read the first scene, and then that'll give the volunteers enough time to warm themselves up. Here we go. Act 3, new act. Each act comes with new plot developments, right? And perhaps new characters. Act 3, Scene 1. Cesario arrives at Olivia's palace, where Feste mocks both Olivia and Orsino. Amused, Cesario gives him coins. Olivia sends everyone away to speak privately with Cesario. Alright, so she's getting some private lovey-dovey time with the guy she likes. Yeah. Cesario declares his servitude to Olivia via Orsino, but rejects her advances, saying he cannot love her, and cryptically hints at her true identity. I am not what I am. We're going to look at that line. Despite the rejection, Olivia encourages Cesario to return. Hopefully he will eventually love her. So Olivia is really forcing herself onto Cesario, and Cesario is just trying to lead her to Orsino. Yeah, Olivia can't take a hint in the same way. What's his name? Orsino can't take a hint. Key quote from this scene: "The fellow's wise enough to play the fool, and to do that, well craves a kind of wit." If you're wise enough to play the fool, then you're not a fool. And who is it that gives this comment? Who is it that is wise enough to see this? Viola. Viola comments on how Feste's role as a fool requires wit and wisdom, revealing how appearances can be deceptive. She connects this to her own disguise as Cesario, recognizing that playing a role can give one the freedom to speak the truth. Now, what do you think of this statement here at the end? Playing a role can give one the freedom to speak the truth. What do you think that means?
So maybe you can if you're playing a role, then it's like you're a completely different person with different views, and it's not like it's not like whatever you say is going to affect your actual person, that who you actually are.
That is it. The last part of what you just said is what I'm getting at. And this, even though Shakespeare wrote this so many hundreds of years ago, it's actually very relevant. This little part of it is very relevant today, because when we go online and take on some kind of social media avatar, we're not even using a real name. Nobody knows who this person behind the screen is. You're empowered. You can say anything. You can do anything, because there will be no real life consequences, right? No one's gonna find you in real life to argue with. And so you have a lot of keyboard warriors, I like to call them. People who have this bravado behind the keyboard, right? When they're on Twitter or when they're in the comments section of a video, they can say all kinds of things. They're brave, things they would never say in real life. So when you're playing a role, when you're hidden behind anonymity, that kind of gives you kind of a false sense of courage, doesn't it? See, Act 3, Scene 1. Ooh, look at this. This fellow is wise enough to play the fool, and to do that, well craves a kind of wit. Remember the word wit from Anansi? Yeah, that same wit. He must observe their mood on whom he jests, the quality of persons and the time, and like the haggle, check at every feather that comes before his eye. So the fool has to be so perceptive. He has to be able to read the room, know which joke to run and with whom. This is a practice as full of labor as a wise man's art. So being a fool is not any joke job, ironic as that sounds. It's hard work. It's hard work just like any other job that a wise man would do. For folly, that he wisely shows it fit. But wise men folly fall and quite quaint their wit. Very interesting lines. Yeah? Yeah. For folly, that he wisely shows it fit. But wise men folly fall and quite taint their wit. When you taint something, you ruin it. So the fool, he has a very unique advantage. Like, he's the only one who can say whatever he wants and it doesn't affect his reputation because it's his job. Like, yeah, interesting. All right. Give me a volunteer for Scene 2.
On Scene 2, Sir Andrew decides to leave after seeing Olivia flirt with Cesario. Sir Toby convinces him to stay and challenge Cesario to a duel to impress Olivia. Andrew leaves to write a challenge letter. Once alone, Sir Toby admits to Fabian that he's keeping Andrew around just to take advantage of him. Since Andrew has a lot of money,
Maria arrives and reveals that Malvolio is following the fake letter's instructions, making a fool of himself. Sir Toby is thrilled at the success of their prank. He quotes, "Go write it in a marital hand, be cursed and brief. It is no matter how witty, so it be eloquent and full of invention." Significance. In this quote, Sir Toby gives Sir Andrew advice on how to write a child's letter to Cesario, instructing him to write in a marital hand, meaning in a bold or military style. Sir Toby emphasizes that the letter should be terse and brief, suggesting it should be sharp and to the point. He dismisses the importance of wit, but insists that the letter should still appear eloquent and inventive. This reveals the abrasive and performative nature of the dude, as Sir Toby is more concerned with the appearance of toughness than with any real substance.
Thank you. So we have more development happening. This drunkard over here, Sir Toby, he is a real trouble starter. He likes to start problems, and watch the world burn. He just wants some entertainment. So he's encouraging this idiot, Andrew. Why don't you challenge Cesario? See Cesario flirting with Olivia. Olivia should be yours. Impress Olivia. Go and fight this Cesario person. Of course, Cesario is Viola. Viola is no soldier. But at the same time, Sir Andrew is also a coward, isn't he? Very interesting. And then we have some more development happening on Malvolio's end of things. Let's see if we find some interesting lines. Let's get into Malvolio. Let's see what he's up to. Ooh, they're talking about Malvolio here. Let's look at the modern English. If you want to have a laughing fit and really laugh until you split your sides, then follow me. That gullible Malvolio, gullible means stupid, must have renounced Christianity, for no Christian who intends to go to heaven by faith would ever believe the absurd, exaggerating things like we put in that letter. He's wearing yellow stockings. Remember, this was a part of the letter, right? And Sir Toby, he's incredulous. With crossed laces. Yes, and they look awful. Like an unfashionable village school teacher. I've been stalking him like a murderer, and he's followed every instruction I gave in that letter I dropped. He smiles so much that his face has more lines in it than a map of the Indies. You've never seen anything like this. I can hardly keep from throwing things at him. I know my lady will get so annoyed she'll hit him eventually. And when she does, he'll just smile and imagine that she's flattering him. So we see here, their plan is coming to fruition, right? Malvolio is acting a fool. We have some interaction with Sebastian and Antonio. Remember those two? Yeah. And here, we actually get to see Olivia interact with Malvolio now. So Olivia is talking to herself. He's coming, madam, talking to Olivia, but in a very strange manner. He seems crazy, madam. Why? What's the matter? Is he talking nonsense? No, madam, he does nothing but smile. It would be best if you had a guard nearby if he comes here. But the man is surely sick in his head. Malvolio sick in his head? This must sound strange to Olivia. Go call him here. Sweet lady, hello. This is Malvolio, really thinking that Olivia is in love with him, right? Are you smiling? I sent for you on a sad occasion. Sad, my lady, I could be sad. These crossed laces do cut off the circulation in my legs a bit. But what of it? If a certain person likes them, then it's like that poem says, please one, please all. Olivia is so confused. What is this madman talking about? Why? What's going on, man? What's the matter with you? My legs are yellow, but I don't feel blue. The letter came to me and its command must be obeyed. I think I recognize the fancy Italian handwriting. What do you think you ought to go to bed, Malvolio? What do you think of this question here? What a question. What is the meaning?
She's suggesting that there's something wrong with him.
Yeah. Are you exhausted? Are you sick? Are you crazy? Get some rest, because you're not acting like a normal person. But look at Malvolio's answer. To bed? Yes, sweetheart. I'll come to you. Mercy. He has the wrong idea. For God's sake, why are you smiling like that and kissing your hand so often? And Maria acting as if she isn't the one who set this up. Are you okay, Malvolio? You think I'll answer you? Noblemen don't answer servants. So already he's high and mighty because he thinks he's getting with Olivia. Why are you acting with such ridiculous arrogance in front of my lady? Don't be afraid of my greatness. It was well written. But Olivia is confused. What do you mean by that, Malvolio? Some are born great. What? Some achieve greatness. What did you say? And some have greatness thrust upon him. May heaven restore your sanity. Remember who it was who complimented your yellow stockings? Your yellow stocking? And asked to see you always wearing cross-laced going up your legs? Crossed laces? No, Go. You are assured of becoming a gentleman. If you want to be. Am I a gentleman? Olivia is so perplexed. And Malvolio, he thinks he's onto something. He thinks he's pleasing Olivia. But Olivia is just concerned that this man has gone mad. If not, just keep acting like a servant. This is surely insanity. Malvolio is quoting the letter. But Olivia thinks she's just talking to him. Right? Oi, what's happening here? Okay. This monologue, he's just kind of confirming that things are going according to the letter. Being all pompous. Yeah, that might be the main thing in this chapter. I don't think we see Malvolio again till the next scene. All right. There are 2 more scenes in Act 3. All right, Act 3. Give me a volunteer.
Act 3, Scene 3. Antonio and Sebastian arrive in Illyria. Sebastian tells Antonio he didn't have to come, but Antonio insists he's there out of love for Sebastian. Sebastian suggests sightseeing, but Antonio explains that he fought against Orsino in the past and would be in danger if discovered. Antonio gives Sebastian his purse to buy anything he desires and agrees to meet him at an inn called the Elephant in an hour. Antonio's gift, given freely, contrasts with the manipulative gifts given by Orsino and Olivia, highlighting Antonio's genuine devotion. Key quote: "My willing love, the rather by these arguments of fear set forth in your pursuit." Significance: Antonio tells Sebastian that the risks they face only deepen his love and loyalty, showing that fear strengthens his resolve rather than discourages him.
Thank you. And let's run through Act 3, Scene 4.
Act 3, Scene 4. Olivia asks Maria for help, wooing Cesario, and sends for Mavu, who arrives wearing ridiculous yellow stockings and smiling absurd. Olivia thinks Malvolio has gone mad. Third Toby, Fabian, and Maria mocks Malvolio's behavior, continuing the prank. Malvolio remains convinced Olivia loves, oblivious to their laughter. Sir Andrew, disheartened by Olivia's interest in Cesario, decides to leave. Sir Toby convinced him to challenge Cesario to a duel instead. Cesario and Sir Andrew reluctantly prepared to duel, but Antonio intervened, mistaking Cesario for Sebastian. Officers arrived and arrest Antonio. He asked Cesario for the purse he gave Sebastian, but Cesario, confused, denies knowing him. Antonio feels betrayed, while Viola, realizing Sebastian may be alive, rushes off in hope. Sir Andrew vows to pursue Cesario with Sir Toby and Fabian followed. Key quote: "Go hang yourself all. You are idle, shallow thing. I am not of your element." Significant: in this quote, Malvolio arrogantly dismisses the other servants, telling them that they are idle, shallow things, and that he is not their element or social class. At this point, Malvolio, tricked by Maria's fake love letter, believes that Olivia loves him and that he is destined for greatness. His newfound sense of superiority causes him to look down on his fellow servant, though the irony is that he has been made a fool, literally dressed in ridiculous yellow stockings. Despite this, Malvolio continues to believe he is above everyone else, further highlighting his self-delusion and arrogance.
Thank you, Chantal. So while we have Malvolio, look at how ridiculous he is. Oh dear. Oh, what are you doing? So while we have Maria here acting all shocked, while we have that madness happening, we also have a lot of confusion going on now with Antonio and Sebastian. We gotta keep up with all of this. Yeah. So Cesario and Sir Andrew, they are preparing to fight because remember, Andrew, that night that Toby is taking advantage of, he wants to prove how brave and strong he is. So he's gonna fight Cesario, and this is Toby's plan to just have some entertainment going. But Antonio comes in. Remember, we have Antonio and Sebastian. Sebastian is Viola's twin brother. So Antonio comes in, and when he sees Cesario with Viola, he thinks it's Sebastian because, of course, Cesario / Viola and Sebastian, they're twins. And apparently the disguise is so good that he made that confusion. And so Cesario and Sir Andrew, they have that and they have that confusion. Officers arrive and arrest Antonio. Remember, Antonio is a wanted man. He shouldn't be in here. Right? He shouldn't be anywhere near Orsino's land. He asks Cesario for the purse he gave Sebastian. But Cesario is not Sebastian. He's confused and he says, I don't know this guy. Who is he? So Antonio thinks that Sebastian is betraying him. But Viola, she realizes based on what's happening, my twin brother must be out there creating this confusion. And so she rushes off. She can finally accomplish her original mission. Alright? It's a lot. There's a lot happening. But let's try to keep up with this web of activity. Before we go to Act 4, let's draw for those comic strips again and do a review of Act 3. Alright. Give me a reader.
Sir, I would like to go.
Please.
Alright, we have Tia. Who will back up Tia? We have Tia. Give me one more reader. Can alternate the pages.
Oh, sir.
Alright, Tia and... Oh man, don't let me get this wrong again. It's Dana. That spelling is tricky. Dana. That E. Okay. Dana. Alright, so Dana and Tia will run it. Let me switch the screens. Alright, Tia, give us a start.
Save thee, friends. Dost thou live by thy drum? No, sir, I live by the church. Are you thou churchman? I do live by the church, for I do live at my house, and my house doth stand by the church. That was a joke. All right, haha, there you are. Now Jove in his next commodity of here send thee a bid. You have no idea how much I want one, but not on my chin. Aha, there you are. My niece is desirous. You should enter. Oh, here he is. Oh, here she is. Rain outdoor. Oh, most excellent lady. The heavens rain adores on you. Rain outdoors. My matter hath no voice but to your pregnant and vouchsafed ear. Scribble. Ahem. The heavens vouchsafe pregnant outdoors on you, lady. What? Oh, go away. Let the garden door be shut. Come, Cesario.
I'm so glad you've come back to me, my darling boy. Madame, I come on behalf of Orsino. Orsino? Blah. Never speak of him again to me. Don't you realize? I sent you my ring. You know how I feel. What did you think of me? I pity you. Pity is kind of like love. No, I don't love you. Oh well, I guess that's that. Be not afraid, good youth. I will not have thee. And yet, when wit and youth come to harvest, your wife is like to reap a proper man. You've nothing to say to my lord Orsino? No, farewell. Stay! I love you. Please don't. I am not what I am. Stop. You're making a fool of both of you. Both of us. You're beautiful when you're angry, you know? I have one heart, and that no woman has. I'm sorry. I'll never come here on Orsino's behalf again. Adieu. So is that a maybe?
It's no good, sir. Sorry, Toby. I am going to go home. What? Why? Your niece is not at all interested in me. She was simpering over that boy, Cesario, right there in front of me. Oh, that's just her way of showing how much she loves you. Come on, even I'm not that stupid. No, she was just trying to make you jealous. She was giving you an opportunity to confront Cesario and win her. You've squandered that opportunity, but it's not too late. You can still impress her. I can. How? Tell me. Go. Write a challenge to Cesario. Defeat him in a duel. My niece will adore you for it. I go. Haha. I can't decide if he's your puppet or your piggyback, Sir Toby. Oh, he's both. What a chump. Come quick. Follow me.
Malvolio is in the yellow stockings and is acting like a complete idiot. Oh God, another chub.
Surprise, Sebastian! It's me, Antonio. What are you doing here in Illyria? Oh, I'm just stalking you. Talking, not stalking. I just wanted to talk with you. Also, I love you. I mean, you don't know Illyria like I do. You might get into trouble wandering around by yourself. Gosh, thanks, Antonio. You are so thoughtful. It's the least I can do. Least. Well, now that we're here, why don't we go sightseeing for a bit? Oh, I'd better not. A while ago, I was involved in a naval battle with Orsino's ships. I know I'm kind of an outlaw here. Oh, but you can go ahead. I'll reserve a room at the Elephant Inn and wait for you. Okay. Here, take my purse. I know you don't have much money, and you might want to buy some souvenirs. Gosh, Antonio, you're such a great friend. I love you. I'll be waiting at the elephant. I remember. See you. Did I mention that I love you?
Where is Malvolio? He's coming, but he's acting kind of strangely. What do you mean acting strangely? Sweet lady, ho ho. Good Lord, Malvolio. What on earth is the matter with you? Not black in my mind, though yellow in my legs, and cross-guard terred. I have done all that you commanded of me. Will you go to bed, Malvolio? To bed? Aye, sweetheart. I'll come to thee. Some are born great. Okay. Some achieve greatness. He's lost his marbles, and some have greatness thrust upon them. Get off! Madame Orsino, messenger has returned like you asked him to. Oh, I'm coming. Maria, see that this fellow is looked after. She loves me.
Man, like this is just a play of mad men.
Delusional.
And one mad woman, right? In Olivia. What a crazy thing. How can he get from this interaction that Olivia loves him? Like, that's what he come away with?
She's literally pushing him off. He's not noticing the signs.
Sir, at this point, we're all convinced they're delusional.
Yeah.
It's a play of delusion.
Like crazy people doing crazy things. Mad people in a clean clothes, right? And dramatic irony is really the most powerful device here, because the audience knows everything that's going on. We see everything. We know who is who. But the characters are just so blinded by their own delusions and their own desires.
Where is Malvolio? I was told he's mad. Mad? Begone, peasants. Maybe he's possessed by the devil. His legs certainly are. Go hang yourselves. I'm above you all now. You shall know more. If this were played upon a stage now, I could condemn it as an improbable fiction. Oh, but we're not done with Malvolio. Let's treat him like a real madman. Lock him up in a dark room. Why, we shall make him mad indeed. That's okay. I feel like vindictively tormenting people today. Sir Toby! Speaking of people to torment. I've done it, Sir Toby. I've written a letter challenging that boy Cesario to a duel. Let's see. There's vinegar and pepper in it. It's so saucy. That was a pun, because saucy also means impudent, and never mind.
Sir Andrew, you have written a great letter challenging Cesario. It will terrify him. Listen, why don't you wait over there? I'll deliver your challenge for you. Look fierce. Okay. Grr. You are going to deliver the letter? No, this is the stupidest letter in the world. I'll challenge Cesario for him. It'll be a lot more fun. Sir Andrew can't do to save his life, but I'll tell the boy that he's an ace with a sword, and convince Sir Andrew that the boy is a master duelist and is sure to kill him. They'll both be terrified of each other. Yes. Shh. Here comes the boy. Come again tomorrow, please. Here, wear my portrait. Look, we've been over this. I can't love you. I'll give you anything. How about love for my master? I've given you my love already. So I'll see you tomorrow, right? Young fellow, I hope for your sake you know how to handle a sword. What? There's a knight over there who is waiting to duel with you. What? Why? He's furious.
He's killed 3 people before, you know? I have no idea what's going on anymore.
Wait, you're saying I've somehow angered a furious swordsman who wants to duel me? Yep, but I'm not a fighter. I'm not a fighter. Please go and try to make my peace with him. I'll try. The boy is terrified of Sir Andrew. Time to make Sir Andrew terrified of the boy. Well, I delivered your challenge to the boy and it turns out he's a professional fencer. I'm afraid you're doomed. What? But he's just a boy. I didn't think he could actually fight. Get me out of this mess. Nope, it's too late now. I don't wanna. Here we are. Let's go. I said, let's go. Stop. I will fight on this boy's behalf. Who's this guy?
Excuse me, but this is a private matter of honor, and we don't appreciate you barging in. There's nothing I won't do for my love. Halt in the name of the law, Antonio. You are under arrest for being a notable pirate. A pirate? Sigh. It's a fair cop. I must go with them. Please give me back my money. I'll need it. What money? The money I gave you earlier. You've been kind to me, so I'll lend you some money. But I've never seen you before in my life, Mr. Pirate. What? I saved your life, and then you followed me here at my own risk out of my love for you, and now you deny me? Look, are you going to come with us or not? I'll come, Sebastian. You are too cruel. Did he say Sebastian? He did, and I look just like Sebastian. Does that man mean he is possibly alive? Prove through imagination, or prove through that I dear brother be now what I'm taken for it. Taken for it. See, the boy's a coward. Go and beat him. Okay.
Thank you, Keisha. So finally, there's a little bit of a realization happening in all this confusion now, right? That name that he called, Sebastian. Okay. So Sebastian is out there somewhere, having this gay friend love after him for some reason. But yeah, Viola knows now, almost for certain, that her brother is alive. So let's see how she responds to that. Alright, let's jump into Act 4. Alright, Keisha, you wanna run this one for us since you've been reading?
Okay, sir. Act 4, Scene 1. Is this Fest, sir? Festa mistakes Sebastian for Cesario and asked him to see Olivia. Sebastian, confused, gives Festa coins to leave him alone. Sir Andrew, thinking Sebastian is Cesario, punches him. Sebastian retaliates, shocked by the madness around him. Olivia intervenes, sending Sir Toby away and apologizing to Cesario, actually Sebastian. Bewildered but attracted to Olivia, Sebastian accepts her invitation to her house, thinking he may be dreaming but not minding at all. Key quotes: what relish is in this? How runs the stream? Or am I mad? Or else this is a dream. Let fancy still my sense in leech steep. If it be thus to dream, still let me sleep. Significance: in this quote, Sebastian is overwhelmed by the events unfolding around him, particularly Olivia's unexpected affection for him, which he mistakes for Cesario. He is confused by the sudden turn of events and wonders whether he is mad or dreaming. Referencing Lethes, the river of forgetfulness in Greek mythology, he wishes to let his senses remain clouded if this dreamlike state is real. He concludes that if what he's experiencing is indeed a dream, he would prefer to stay asleep and enjoy it, rather than waking up to reality.
Thank you. Yeah, you can imagine how confused, how shocked Sebastian is. He just has all these people interacting with him in these strange ways. Festa talking to him. Who's this Festa guy? Festa thinks it's Cesaro. This is the first time we see Festa actually making a mistake, right? Sir Andrew punches him because, Sir Andrew wants to fight Cesario. It's like, what? Why is this guy attacking me? And then Olivia, who is in love with Cesario, he's coming on to Sebastian, but Sebastian doesn't mind. Sebastian is saying, whoa, this lady's coming at me like this. I'm confused, but if everybody's mad, if I'm dreaming, let me stay dreaming because this is a good dream, right? All this mistaken identity is just creating so much confusion. All right, who will take on scene 2?
I will, sir.
Run it, Ayana. Ayana, you're back.
Yes, sir. My electricity is coming and going, so
Oh, no.
my apologies.
No problem.
Act 4, Scene 2. Maria and Toby lock Malvolio in a dark chamber, claiming it will cure his madness. Feste, dressed as the scholar Sir Topas, and visits Malvolio, pretending the dark room is bright. Malvolio tries to prove his sanity by answering Sir Topas intellectual questions, but Feste dismisses his responses and leaves. Toby enjoys the prank but confides in Maria that they must end it soon to avoid upsetting Olivia further. They leave together. Feste, back in his clown persona, returns to Malvolio. Malvolio begs for writing materials to plead his case to Olivia. Feste agrees, but first taunts him further.
He could.
Well, I'll put it on, and I will dissemble myself in it. And I were the first that ever dissembled in such a gown. Significance. Feste humorously reflects on the act of disguising oneself as he prepares to trick Malvolio. His comment underscores the theme of deception and acknowledges the common practice of assuming false identities and both in the play and in life.
Thank you. Do we feel sorry for Malvolio at this point? You think it's too much?
Sir, a bit.
No? Oof. Man, I think they've gone a little bit too far because no, they're actually convincing this man is mad. This, Feste dressed as Sir Topas is saying, "Oh, what a bright room." Malvolio is saying, "This room is bright. It looks dark to me. Maybe I'm actually mad." Gaslighting, eh? Oh my goodness. All right. Scene 3.
Act 4, Scene 3. Sebastian, confused by recent events, reflects on whether he or Olivia might be mad. He wishes he could consult Antonio, but he can't find him. Olivia enters with a priest and urges Sebastian to marry her in secret immediately, with plans for a larger public ceremony later. Despite his confusion, Sebastian agrees, and they leave to be married. Key quote: "Yet doth this accident and flood of fortune so far exceed all instance, all discourse, that I am ready to distrust mine eyes." Significance: Sebastian expresses belief at the sudden good fortune he has experienced, particularly Olivia's affection for him. The situation is so incredible that he questions whether he can trust his own eyes. This highlights his bewilderment at the rapid change in his circumstances.
Nice. All right. And that's it for scene 4. That's pretty much how scene 4 ends. It ends with these two deciding to get married in secret quickly. So you can imagine being Sebastian in all this. He's just shocked out of his wits. And we only have one scene left. Actually, Act 5 is just one scene. So the last reader will just finish up the play. Who will it be? So it's kind of long.
Act 5, Scene 1. Feste holds Malvolio's letter as Fabian tries to take it from him. Orsino arrives and sends Feste to inform Olivia arrival. Antonia is brought in by officers mistaking Cesario for Sebastian. Antonia explains to Sebastian, hitting everyone as they try to unravel the situation. Olivia arrives and accuses Cesario of breaking marriage promises. Puzzling Cesario proclaims undying loyalty to Orsino. Sir Andrew and Sir Toby enter, injured, accusing Cesario of attacking them. Sebastian arrives and the confusion clears as he and Viola recognize each other. Olivia realizes she married Sebastian, not Cesario, while Orsino's love shifts from Olivia to Viola, though he continues to address her as Cesario for the time being. Malvolio's letter is read, revealing the prank played on him by Maria and the others. Malvolio, furious, storms off, vowing revenge. The scene ends with Orsino and Viola and Olivia and Sebastian preparing for marriage. The play concludes with Feste singing a melancholy song, highlighting the play's undercurrent of life's fleeting joys. Key quote, "Give me thy hand and let me see thee in thy woman's weeds." Orsino's request to see Viola in her woman's weeds after she reveals her true identity highlights the performative nature of his love for Olivia. His immediate shift of affection towards Viola suggests that his love for Olivia may have been more about performance of being in love than true emotion. Alternatively, Orsino might have already developed feelings for Viola, disguised as Cesario, because of their close bond, and the discovery that she is a woman seals his attraction. The moment also touches on the theme of gender as the fluidity of identity and attraction challenges conventional ideas of love and desire, particularly in the context of Shakespeare's time when male actors played female roles for comedic and thematic complexity.
Thank you. Oh, that is it. That's the last scene of the play. What do we think of the ending?
Whereas it ends in a spiritual manner, saying like, the theater and all the populate of the that's the vibe.
Everybody except
Love.
Portfolio.
In my opinion, the ending is extremely random. It went from such a high point and then it dropped so low. I was like, what? I expected more, honestly. But at the same time, it's an okay ending, so.
I think the ending, for me, just highlighted how bizarre the whole play was. How on earth did it end like this? It's almost as if, when you're playing, there are certain ring games like this, and in the end, they just grab a partner, and that's it. Game over, right? It's quite strange. So we have Cesario. We can call her by her name now. Viola and Orsino. That relationship was never built in any romantic way. It was always one-sided. But suddenly at the end, we have that.
I personally couldn't see that relationship ever forming at no point in time.
But it does. Did it form?
Yes, sis. I don't understand how they end up getting married.
Sorry, I agree. It really is confusing. Like, how did you start from, like, let's start off with how somehow Sebastian married Olivia, or got married with Olivia. That part is kind of confusing, because how do you just randomly just get married with someone like that, or how do you even fall for them like that? I'm confused.
Well, for Olivia, it wasn't random, because she thought it was Cesario all along. So she was like, come on, here's my chance. And I guess she was so happy when Sebastian was like, okay, let's do this. I'm in a dream. So Olivia thought that Cesario finally returned the love, but it wasn't Cesario at all. So we see so many kind of one-sided feelings being displayed, right? And then, for me, maybe the strangest thing for me was Viola and Orsino getting together at the end. Of course, Viola wanted that all along. She's always been in love with this madman Orsino. But then for Orsino to just say, oh, you're a woman now? Okay. You're the one I love. That's also a little strange. That this sounds like a friends to lovers Wattpad story, says Montavia. Any other comments on the ending? I see some hands. Go ahead.
Sir, this is Dana. I believe Orsino actually had like some love for who he thought was Cesario, and because of that, he would have been like a bit standoffish to it. And when he realized that she was actually a female, it was just like an invitation for him to fully express what he was feeling. There's some textual evidence to it. I'm searching for it right now.
It's a good point of view, but it's still a little strange. I mean, I know they were close, and even in how he was telling him to woo Olivia, like you're so effeminate, and you have such a pretty face, and blah blah blah. She will listen to you. So he was showing some kind of affection. Yes, go ahead.
Continue, sir.
Yeah, I'm saying he was showing some kind of affection to Cesario, but for that affection to suddenly bloom into let's get married, the moment the gender switch happens, I mean that's just like Orsino. That's very Orsino. Yes, Akira.
Sir, I don't understand why Olivia gets married to Sebastian, because even though him and Cesario look alike, they don't must have the same personality. Wouldn't she just not like Sebastian? Like, what?
That shows how ridiculous how face value the love is. It shows that, okay, you look like the guy I love, that's good enough. What? Eh? Strange. The only real marriage here would be Toby and Maria. Honestly.
They're going to end the divorce real soon.
Well, there we have it. That's the plot. That is 12th Night. We're going to stop here for today, but when we meet again, we'll be able to get into some deeper analysis. We can look at some important characters and really get to know the characters a little bit more, right? And we look at some themes, desire and love. We have a couple of interesting themes that we'll get into. And you look at some dramatic techniques, how Shakespeare really, wrote the split in an effective way. So we're done with the plot. We don't have to do any more reading per se, but we have some analysis to do. We've made it. That's 12th Night.